the fixer. Dalton, Jade had actually never met him before, but they ran in the same circles, and people always joked, if you need help with anything, especially the things that you don't want cops to know about, Alan Roach is your guy. How's his reputation?
Alan Roach.
Roach via Facebook Messenger, and she Sam Spark? Yes, nice to meet you. Sam gave me your number if I ever needed it. Not sure if you want me. Maybe we can meet for lunch and chat in person. If Sam referred you to me, then I'm sure I can fix it for you. So they switch over to texting, and Jade says, Sam said if I ever needed actual help to call you. Like actual help. Like hit the fan and I need help and or discretion type of help. The situation is one I'm not quite sure how to handle.
The
It's quite
Fixer.
personal. I would like to chat with you in person, Alan. So I'm not really sure what Jade had in mind or what she was thinking, but through the initial messages with Alan Roach, it's very clear that she doesn't want to talk about this over text. She wants to meet with him in person. Christmas Eve, December 24th, 2020. So Tom is still in the hospital. He hasn't been discharged yet. Jade and Alan Roach meet for the first time. It's assumed that Jade told Alan what was going on, and she also seemed to be very nervous about what Tom was going to do. He was watching her, so none of the photos were taken with a hidden camera.
Uh-oh.
But still, her life felt like it had been turned upside down. Alan said he advised her to get security cameras in her house, but she declined. Which, side note, Alan would later testify that during the initial meeting, they had an instant attraction towards each other, and sparks were flying, and he claims that he slept with her during that period, but it was very casual. It's kind of pertinent to note later on in the text messages, but just know that they had a relationship going on. Some people think that they actually use this as evidence that Jade wasn't that traumatized by the fact that her stepdad had her nudes. I don't agree with that sentiment, but there's that. The very next day on Christmas Day, Jade starts texting Alan again, and personally, I see a little bit of unraveling happening with Jade's mental state. She starts texting him, I've been sleeping with a
I got
plastic tarp on the floor next to my bed because it makes noise when someone walks on it. And who would attack a girl who has a plastic tarp laid out next to her bed? I've got a knife and an iron rod by the bed too. So I guess worst case, the tarp will make it easier for cleaning. Insinuating that if someone tries to attack her, she's going to kill them, and the tarp will make it easy to clean up all the blood. She added some emojis into that text as well, such as the shrugging man emoji. And it's just a lot. The next day, December 26th, Jade texts Alan again. Hopefully, we can figure out a plan
Oh, I
because
got
I
it.
imagine you're too busy to watch me shower every day. Side note, Alan agreed to stand guard while Jade would shower because she was terrified that Tom would be released without her being alerted and would just ambush her in her home. But as for the plan reference, it's hard to say what she was referring to. Prosecutors would later argue that she was referring to a plan to murder Tom. She would argue differently. The next day, Jade texted Alan again. This isn't something that I can take care of on my own. I'm losing it and spinning. I think everything else is best spoken in person, Alan. I'm beyond freaked out, just so freaked out. The next day, another text. Anyway, I'm waiting for the hospital to get back to me about his status. So far, it seems like he's getting his strength back. I think the time is coming up, so we gotta come up with a plan fast. Again, a lot of references to taking care of it, or a plan. The prosecutors would again argue that this points to the plot of a murder. Jade kept mentioning to Alan that her biggest fear
I need
was
to
that Tom would be released
get a
from the
better
Fed
setup.
facility
Hey,
and
what's up,
have him
Plug
killed.
IZ?
She
How
said
are
the
you?
hospital wasn't the best of at back and forth communication. She just felt nervous, and Tom's medical insurance agreement would stop at the end of the year, so it makes sense that he would most likely be released by the end of the year. She's running out of time to figure out how she wants to handle this situation. It's already December 28th. Jade would later explain, since the day she found those photos, she could not function properly. She felt like she was a zombie, just throwing up whenever she was thinking about everything that she saw. She thought about what Tom was doing while he was looking at those
Yes, I
pictures,
beat it.
why he even had those pictures. She started overthinking every single interaction that they ever
You
had.
good? I'm okay. I had
Tom
a
was
good day,
never
actually.
outright inappropriate with her. So if she had never found these photos, she would never in a million years think that Tom was seeing her in any way. But now looking back, there's just so much. And I wonder if there were instances where maybe Tom had said some weird
Dun
things
dun
or
dun. How's your day
not
going?
touched her in a way that's overly suggestive, but just I if it were me, I would be overthinking every single touch, every single hug, everything.
Every conversation, every dinner.
Yes, every time I thought that he's looking at me with loving fatherly eyes.
Every time he comes over.
Yes, what is he doing?
Yeah.
Every time I went to the beach with him, like they live in San Diego. I mean, all of that.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, it's something that I don't think most people can even
relate to.
Yeah, like.
And it's kind of worse in my opinion because I think girls are taught at a young age to be very wary of men and just guys in general, and we kind of expect dudes to appear in our life. But I think that's what makes betrayal so much harder when it's family members. You don't expect that from your stepdad, your father, your uncle. Like these are the safe people that you would never ever expect them to do this to you. She said that she wanted to throw up 24/7. Her world was spinning. I mean, she knew this man for most of her life. Since she was 12, she's now 37. This man was a firm father figure in her life. She called him dad for crying out loud. And this whole time, he was probably mad to her. Even to photos of her when she was a minor. She said she could not function. Her world was crashing down, and it's pretty evident in her text messages. Regardless of how you feel later about this crime or about Jade, I feel like it's pretty evident that the state of mind that she was in after she found these pictures was just not good. She kept messaging her friend Mike. So remember the guy she initially called about the pictures, the very first call that she made? She talked about how she was in a moral pickle, how she was debating between something. And then she texted him, but I would rather not put it on my shoulder, so I'm making a call. She never really elaborated on what she meant by that, but prosecutors would later theorize that she was talking about killing. The same day, Jade starts messaging Alan again. My mind is spinning, but I've got a plan. Alan responds, I need to have a clear mind now that the time is near. Which again makes it seem like potentially they have come up with a plan to take care of Tom, and the deadline is coming soon. The deadline of whenever he's released from the hospital. Jake continues, I've given it to you, Alan, and I have an easy solution. I do not need to speak with you tonight. I think it's time to tighten up a plan. The prosecutors again think the plan is to kill Tom. Jade would
What
later
is the
explain, no,
plan?
that's not the plan. The plan was to pick up Tom from the hospital when he's discharged, bring him home where Alan would be there to confront him about the photos. We would stand there together, Alan would be the muscle, and we would demand that Tom get rid of every single photo on every device because we don't know if he's got it backed up somewhere. And if he does that, we would promise that we wouldn't go to the police with this. She said that was the plan. That was the plan that she keeps referring to in the text messages. The prosecutors and most of the public do not believe that. Even the public that agrees that Jade should not get as much time as she ended up getting. But December 31st, 2020 rolls around, the very last day of 2020. Jade and Alan meet up in Jade's neighborhood, and we're not really sure what they talked about or what they did, but we do know that Jade was collecting all the evidence. She starts taking photos with her phone of Tom's computer screen of every single picture that was on there, capturing and documenting every single folder containing her private photos. When she was done, she removed all of the photos from his computer, pulled out what she believed to be his hard drive. This is like a PC. Jade had always been a Mac user, so she didn't feel super confident that she got rid of everything. She went the extra measure, the extra mile of spilling liquids all over it. Then she jumped in her Toyota 4Runner, drove to the facility to pick up Tom. He's being discharged, just as she predicted. 11:19 a.m. He's discharged. His stepdaughter Jade is there to pick him up.
How old is he at this point?
I would say like in his 60s, 70s. He's quite old. The nurse that signed his discharge papers said that he was very alert and oriented times three. That's a medical term meaning Tom knows who he is, where he is, and approximate date and time. He had normal vital signs, no difficulty breathing, could communicate clearly. He seemed to be very stable and even in good spirits that he was getting out. But he did leave with a bag of goodies, if you will, a lot of meds. They were take as needed meds, but there were some controlled substances in the mix. And as Jade picked Tom up, she joked to the nurses saying, see dad, and you say I don't love you. Now, we don't know for sure what happened on that car ride home, but it's not good. We have little bits and pieces of information, and none of it looks good. On the way home, Jade stops at a Dixie Lion Lumber and Home Center parking lot. So it's like a Home Depot. It's like a Lowe's. In the same shopping plaza, next to it, there's a CVS, Beth Mo, which is a liquor store, Starbucks, and a Panda Express. We know that it takes 8 minutes from the care facility where Tom was discharged to the shopping plaza. And from the shopping plaza, it would take another 3 minutes to get back home. So a total of 11 minutes.
Come on, like
But 11
the only
minutes
one
after
around.
Tom
But
was discharged,
it's-
they should be home, or at least close to home now. Jade texts Alan
I'll
Roach,
bring you guys
I
over
just
here.
dosed the hell out of him. Stopping for whiskey, then stopping at Dixieland to stall. Let me know. So I guess let me know when you're coming. The prosecutors believe this text is the smoking gun in this case. They use this message to argue that Jade drugged her stepfather on the ride back home. Jade denies this. We do know that after sending that text message, Jade walks into the Bevmo, the liquor store, and purchases a large bottle of Jack Daniels. This is Tom's favorite. She also picks up some small-sized bottles of vodka, as well as chocolates. Police later find the Jack Daniels at Tom's house on his table, and the 2 hotel-sized bottles of vodka, or the travel-sized bottles, they were found in Jade's car along with the receipt, so maybe she took it, or he took it. After Bevmo, Jade walks into Dixieline and purchases what the prosecutors would later call a kill kit, paper towels, a double-lock cable tie, spray paint, gloves,
I'm getting my butt kicked.
thicker towels like rags. The prosecutors argued that everything on the list was used with the intention of committing murder minus the spray paint, which they thought was a red herring. For her to act like, oh no, I'm just working on a design project with the spray paint. Side note, that was Jade's argument later. She said all these things were for a project she had been working on because she's an interior designer, so she constantly buys weird things at a Home Depot. Cell tower logs indicate Jade went back to her car in the parking lot and sat around for a little while. They left the shopping plaza at 12:27 p.m. They stayed in this plaza for an hour, but she was only shopping for like 27 minutes of it. On the way back home, Jade texts Alan, checking in, I'll call you back later. I'm driving. It's loud in the truck. No need for your friends. I do need help getting them home. I'm not strong enough, so please call me. Side note, we don't know what friend she's referring to. Some argue that Alan had told her he had a literal human being friend that could help her with her plans. Others speculate online that she could have been referring to a gun. You know, she just dosed the hell out of him. No need for your friend, the gun. I just need to help get him inside. That's the speculation. That's just what she's texting though. Her legal team will later say that on the way home, Tom started throwing a fit in the car immediately out of the treatment facility. He was pissed. He was blasting her out. He kept reaching for her medicine box, which was in the center console of her car. He was allegedly ranting about how the treatment center was a hole, how upset he was that he had to be locked up there during the holiday season, but at least he was after New Year. Tom asked her to stop by the liquor store, get him a bottle of whiskey to celebrate. And Jade said that she felt so bad, she also bought him a box of chocolate too, to help cheer him up from his sour mood. She said she goes into Bevmo, gets out, and she's like, oh my god, there's a Dixieland, this is perfect, I need to get a few things for work. Gets a few things, goes back into the car. She claims during the 26 minutes that she took to shop, Tom was left in the car with all of his drugs next to him, as well as some of Jade's own medicine that she kept in her glove compartment. So he allegedly made his own toxic cocktail, and she stated the text messages that she sent Alan Roach were absolutely not about murder. So she's just saying, when I said I dosed the hell out of him, I just gave him like panic meds. I just gave him the meds that they told me to give him so that he could calm down. She claimed when she texted Alan that she wasn't strong enough. She didn't mean strong enough for murder, she meant strong enough to confront him about the pictures. When they finally arrived home, Tom was heavily medicated but still conscious. He could not make it out of the car. So they're in Jade's driveway, and she opens the door, and he's trying to get out, but he falls out of the car, basically, and he's just sprawled down on her driveway. Jade herself could not pick him back up. She couldn't even drag him back into the car, couldn't drag him inside the house. He was a heavier set man, and because he was so unconscious, he was practically just dead weight at this point. She immediately texts Alan, I can't carry him either back to the car or to his house. I'm not strong enough. Can you come, like, right now? Tom is laying in the driveway in the middle of the day. I mean, this is not looking good for anyone. A lot of people believe that she must have done something to him because if he genuinely took the drugs himself and fell, she should have no problem calling the paramedics to come get him off the driveway, but she didn't. Instead, she called Adam, the guy that she was briefly seeing. Remember the one that she went to Mexico with?
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, Adam, you need to come help me. I got like a 911 emergency situation. And he's like, sorry, I can't do that because I'm getting a tattoo right now. Well, why don't you call her good buddy Chucky? So then she's like, I haven't talked to Chucky in freaking years. You want me to call him to help me with this situation? Adam has no idea what situation she's talking about. So he's like, yeah, just call Chucky. She ends up calling this Chucky guy, and we We don't know much about him, but both he and Adam are very shady characters. Adam himself has a felony arrest for stalking an ex-girlfriend of his and just doing some really bizarre things. For example, his ex-girlfriend filed a restraining order against him. The cops arrested him for stalking, and he's like, I am not a stalker. I don't have a restraining order against me. They looked through his phone. He texted his ex-girlfriend, I will staple the restraining order to your forehead. So all of it was a lie. So this guy is kind of shady. We don't know much about Chucky, other than that. But Jade hadn't spoken to him in years, and it would be very bizarre to reach out to him now, but she does. She calls him, and he says he's in the desert, so he can't help. Right as she hangs up with Chucky, Jade sees something that shakes her to her core. Her freaking neighbor, George, is approaching her, coming closer and closer, and he finally looks down. Wow, he looks bad. He's staring at Tom, who's basically sprawled out on the driveway. Not that conscious, apparently, because he's not even responding to George. Jade tries to explain, saying something along the lines of, like, oh my god, yeah, he's totally fine. He just discharged from the hospital, but it must be the medications he's on making him poopy, you know? George tries to ask Tom directly, like, hey bud, you okay? Tom just mumbles something. George hesitates for a second, but he decides, ultimately, I don't really want to get involved. So he walks off. Jade realized that she was becoming panicked, and there were way too many people that had talked to about the situation. So she decides to open up.
Maybe I'll reset.
Notes app on her phone to take note of
Because nobody's watching me. Nobody likes me.
George Hamilton, 1255 Gardner. From what we can gather, primarily from Jade's own phone records, she seems to be losing her mind with Tom in her driveway because Alan Roach is not coming to help her. He keeps evading her text messages. She's like, when are you going to be here? Are you going to be here? And he's just like, oh, I got something going on with my family. It's very clear he's not going to come. So, of course, she starts panic calling all of these other people that she thinks can help her with the situation. And in her panic, she ends up calling her friends Sarah, Jacob, and Sarah's boyfriend, Justin. I'm not sure how much she shared on the phone, but after they hung up, Jade texted them, he's alive, please don't ask me questions, just help me into the house. They show up. As she waits for a response from them, she opens up her notes app and writes 1 p.m. Justin. Then she texts Alan again. I had to call someone to help me carry him inside. I wish you were closer. Alan says, so is he at his place then? Nope, my truck. I don't think he's breathing well. Jade sent the message and looked up to see Sarah and Justin arriving at her place. She ran to them and she starts explaining the situation, asking if Justin could help lift Tom up and put him back inside her car, since he's literally just face planted on her driveway right now. Justin helps Jade, and there was no reason to doubt her story. She said, I just need to get him in the car so I can drive him straight back to the care facility. The story checks out. Jade was very caring of Tom. She even went into the house to bring out a pillow so he could be more comfortable in the car. Nothing about the interaction rang any red flags for Justin or Sarah. He didn't think anything was weird about it at all. After helping Tom inside the car, Justin and Sarah watched Jade drive off, and she's on the phone. They thought that she was probably talking to the hospital to alert them that she's coming back. The police checked her phone records, and no phone call was made around that time. They believe that Jade was faking a phone call as she pulled out of the driveway. Jade's phone would later ping next to the treatment care facility. According to prosecutors, she never went in. It didn't seem like she ever really contemplated it. She just starts driving around aimlessly for the next few hours. Jade would argue, I actually went into the care facility. I guess nobody documented it, but I went in and I couldn't get an appointment because the prosecutors believe Jade was aimlessly driving around, waiting for Alan to come meet with her so that he could kill Tom for her. Tom wasn't dead yet. He was just heavily intoxicated. She wanted him to die, but she didn't want to be the one to do it, is what the prosecutors argued. So she's driving around. Tom's drugs start to wear off and he starts moving around. She panics, grabs her phone, texts Alan. He's waking up. I really didn't want to be the one to do this. ... Alan just keeps making more and more excuses. And then finally he's like, you know what? I'm not close by, but a buddy of mine, Brian Solomon, he'd be more than happy to help you. Jade has never even heard of a Brian Solomon. And now Alan is like, do you want this complete stranger to come over and be an accomplice to murder and help you with whatever you're doing? She's getting frustrated. She had a freaking long notes list of people that she had talked to today and that knew what was going on, at least to a degree. She's fed up. He texted, I don't know, Alan. I just be Weekend at Bernie's. This is another huge point of contention in the story. The prosecutors believe Jade is referencing a movie called Weekend at Bernie's. It's a dark comedy where Bernie, the man, is killed and his death is staged to look like an overdose, and the protagonist parading him around pretending like he's still alive, but he's actually just dead. Jade would later argue that the phrase is used to describe someone who's super drunk or out of it. But personally, I've never heard of it, but I also don't run in circles where there's a lot of drinking, so maybe if we're more aware, is that a term, or is it kind of iffy? So back to the situation in the car. It's believed that Jade starts freaking out that Tom's drugs are wearing off and she decides to strangle him. It's debated whether or not she actually wanted to kill him by strangling him or she just wanted him to stop moving. Evidence shows a lot of weird stuff. There was a plastic bag that had Tom's DNA on the inside of the bag and Jade's DNA on the inside and outside. We can presume that Jade had tried to put the bag around Tom's head to strangle him. There were plastic gloves that Jade had bought at Dixieline. Jade's DNA were on the inside, indicating she had worn them, and Tom's DNA was on the outside. There were also 3 towels on the dashboard of the car, the ones that she bought at Dixieline, and they were tied together. Imagine you tie together a bunch of sheets to get out of the fire. That's where I see it most. To make one single long piece of rope, and they had both their DNAs on them, leading prosecutors to believe she tied the towels together to try and use to strangle Tom. Jade said no. I tied the towels together to try and use it to hoist Tom back into the car the first time he fell down in my driveway. None of it mattered though. If Jade had been Tom inside the house to make it look like a overdose, if he was found in her car, she would be responsible. She would have to answer a lot of tricky questions. 3 p.m. Jade's been running around all afternoon. Alan is like, Brian's at your place. She rushes back home, and side note, when he arrived at Jade's house, he was told by Alan to go buy some gloves at CVS. His girlfriend Maria drove him to CVS, and he just bought the gloves. He later said, I had no freaking idea what was going on, but it's the time of COVID, so it seems pretty normal to be wearing gloves. He gets dropped off at Jade's house by his girlfriend, and his girlfriend drives off, and he steps inside to Jade's house. He doesn't look inside Jade's car that's parked outside. He just goes straight into the house, and he immediately notices that this woman doesn't look all there. She's not all there. He walks up to her and introduces himself. Hey, I'm Brian. I work with Alan. He said you need me to help someone out? Yeah, he's in the car. He has a pillowcase over his head and a rope around him.
What?
Brian's like, what? Alan did not tell me that. In fact, Alan told me that I was doing a good deed and your dad was very ill and you couldn't get him into the house and he couldn't get himself into the house. So I was coming over with some gloves because I don't want to get COVID and I was going to help your elderly father into the house, like hospice care. Brian says Jade responded, no, I don't need you to just bring him into the house. I need you to strangle him and then bring him into the house and then I'll take care of the rest. Brian said at that moment, there was a massive miscommunication, okay? Because Alan told him he was helping someone, not killing an elderly man. He didn't know that Alan had effectively signed him up for murder. He paused, and he said, here, hold on a minute. Let me make a call on my boy. He booked it. He booked it outside the house, booked it down the driveway, screaming, crying, onto the phone, calling his girlfriend Maria, like, you better U-turn and come pick me up, Mom, I'm scared. Brian claimed that he never saw Tom's body. He didn't want to look. And when his girlfriend came to pick him up, his girlfriend was furious. She never liked Alan to begin with because he was known for lying and omitting important details. Unfortunately, Brian would not call the police. Even when he saw the reports of Tom's death, he never called the police. It wasn't until police reached out to him that he would tell them what happened. He said he didn't want to be charged with murder when he didn't have anything to do with it. He didn't think that the police would believe him. I will also add, Brian is a very questionable character. There are several reports of domestic violence against him. He even pushed his ex-girlfriend out of a moving vehicle at one point. And his story about what happened changes a lot. So I don't know if he's a star witness. At first, Brian had told the police that Jade just asked him to bring Tom inside. Later, he said, oh, Jade asked me to strangle the man. I just think it's intriguing when someone's story goes from 0 to 100. Maybe he just felt more trust in the police, to be honest, or maybe they offered him something in exchange for a more smoking gun statement. But after Brian leaves, Alan texts Jade like, I ordered Brian to leave because I don't want my boy involved in that. Jade sends Alan a series of text messages, and it's just her panicking that she's on her own. He's waking up, he's gonna get aggressive, he's super medicated, but she can't just keep kicking body in her truck. She needs help. She's not strong enough to get back into the car. I mean, she's full on freaking out, almost being like, I depended on you. You told me I could trust you, and now you're backing out. Like, why are you not even responding? Please just get back to me. Her text messages become so much more unhinged. I can't necessarily say that she's irrational before all of this.
Scimpanzini bananini. He ends up calling the police and reporting everything. So now the police are on the hunt for a missing man named Tom. Jade, on the other hand, she's driving back to the care facility with Tom in the backseat of her car. She picks up a wheelchair thinking that she could get Tom from the car to the wheelchair and the wheelchair to the home. That's her plan. She literally puts the wheelchair on top of Tom in the car, drives back to the driveway, and then it's caught up with this case yet. It's New Year's Day. There's a lot going on. A lot of people need help. A lot of people are in trouble. There's Ballerina cappuccina.
crimes. Like, there was an uptick of crime, right? So they're a little bit busy. Meanwhile, Jade is trying to get Tom out and put his body in a wheelchair. She claims she did not know if Tom was alive or dead at this point, but when she went to grab his lighter, they were cold. She tries to drag him to the car, so he was in the wheelchair. He was on the ground. And in the end, all she could do was drag his lifeless body across her driveway towards the end, where she had a pile of empty boxes and trash, and she just buried him until hopefully Tom is in the end. This is in broad daylight. At around 3:30 p.m., her neighbor George testified that he saw Jade loading some things in her car, and he offered to help, but Jade declined.
Berry berry bicus dicus bombicus. Berry berry bicus dicus bombicus.
But the next day, the police would find Tom's dead body, and she was surviving. They would pull her over. She was brought to the police station, questioned, and while the police were Jade was arrested. The police did initially tell Jade it was all fixed out.
Bambini crostini.
So let's briefly talk about the autopsy. Tom's cause of death was revealed to be an acute intoxication with contributing factors in the heart and liver. So the system where all police received pills with the exception of one being medicine used to treat seizures, which was prescribed to Jade, which then claimed he took in regard to certain weapons.
Trick track badaboom. Burr patapim. Toby Toby. Toby Toby. Boneca ambala Toby. Trippi troppi. Tung sahur. Tung sahur. Bananita dolfinita. Cappuccino assassino. Burr patapim. Lerule. Perochello lemonchello. Nubini Pizzanini. Chimpanzini Bananini. Lirili Larila. Pandaccini Bananini. Strawberrelli Flamingelli. Borbaloni Luliloli. Lirili Larila. Tim Cheese. Tata sahur. Pipi kiwi. Svinina bombardino.
Children and animals respond to you with unusual openness and trust. This occurs because your energy signature is to a frequency that is for authentic not ready for higher awareness. You've been experiencing what mystics call dimensional bleeds, moments when you perceive reality from multiple perspectives simultaneously.
Trick track bada boom.
Instead of dismissing these as imagination, you've learned to recognize them as evidence of your expanding perceptual capacity, accessing layers
Scimpanzini bananini. Scimpanzini bananini. Scimpanzini bananini. Pipi potato. Ballerina cappuccina.
Development for generations to come. Happening in your energy field right now.
Tracodu potulu della pela dustu.
But here's what makes this transition.
Blueberrini octopusini. Borbaloni Luli Loli. Leru Leru Leru. Leru Leru Leru. Leru Leru Leru. Leru Leru Lerule. Trulimero Trulicina.
Because I could sense the outcomes of different choices before making them. But the most profound shift was realizing that this isn't special or rare. This is where human consciousness is naturally evolving. The advanced states that felt so extraordinary are actually our species' next developmental stage. I wasn't becoming superhuman. I was becoming culture doesn't recognize as normal. This understanding revealed why some people seem to navigate life with inexplicable ease and wisdom, while others struggle constantly with the same
Sigma Boy. Sigma Boy. Glorbo Fruttodrillo. Borbaloni Luli Loli. Tetete Saur.
Consciousness, recognizing its own unlimited nature, is temporarily obscured by learned limitations rather than actual developmental deficiencies. Most consciousness teachings create elaborate hierarchies and progressive stages because complex systems generate dependency and natural state obvious. Instead of accumulating
Hi, how are you
experiences
guys?
and insights, you focus on releasing
I don't think it was shown by live.
obscure your essential clarity
Sorry, guys.
of unlimited perception capacity. The most advanced mystics throughout history have pointed to this recognition through statements that seem paradoxical. Beyond your personal knowledge. The decision-making process has transformed completely. Instead of
Nothing's coming, bro.
which choices feel aligned with
I need the crab thing and the Gorbo thing.
This happens because advanced consciousness operates from what mystics call direct knowing. Immediate recognition of optimal paths that bypasses the slow
Stroberelli flamingelli.
I probably don't need that either.
physical reality is responding to your presence with unprecedented precision. Parking spaces open precisely when you need them. Conversations naturally flow toward topics that serve everyone involved perfectly. Technology functions smoothly around you, or alternatively, glitches in ways that guide you toward better solutions.
Nothing good.
This isn't love.
There ain't nothing good on this game.
People are beginning to seek you out for guidance and insight, even though you're not positioning yourself as a teacher or advisor. They sense something different in your energy signature that creates space for their own clarity to emerge. Strangers
Chef Crabracadabra.
intimate details authenticity and truth.
Svinina Bombardino.
Sleep patterns and dream experiences have intensified dramatically. You might need less sleep, but feel well rested, or your dreams have become extraordinarily vivid and instructional.
Still my brain rot, bro. I need my $41 million, bro. Pizza, you need. I need that funding. That's what I'm looking for.
Either rapidly developing advanced awareness or becoming more rigidly attached to limited patterns as the planetary frequency demands.
So I just buy this thing for no reason.
Cavallo virtuoso.
I'm just buying stuff, you know. I got like $40 million.
For personal benefit, you're anchoring these capabilities. This is both tremendous
Pipi Kiwi.
individuals who have developed the consciousness stability necessary to serve as bridges between the old.
Nothing good's coming out, bro.
Advanced awareness, consciously rather than accidentally, is contributing to a morphic field that makes these capabilities increasingly accessible to everyone ready to receive them. The waiting period is over. Conscious participation in human evolution is now. What you've been preparing for your entire life is finally ready to emerge.
Ballerina cappuccina.
Required to serve as a focal point through which universal intelligence can express itself in physical reality with unprecedented clarity and effectiveness.
Trulimero Trulicina.
While maintaining access to unlimited creative potential through allowing God to produce time to become worthy of your control.
Lerule rulerule.
Personal development and spiritual achievement, because there's no separate person who needs to be improved or developed. There's only consciousness recognizing its own unbroken nature.
Avocadini gufi.
Words, I am ready to serve. Don't elaborate or explain. Just make this simple declaration that acknowledges your willingness to allow universal intelligence to express itself through your unique perspective in whatever way serves the highest good of all existence. When you make this declaration with genuine recognition of what it means, you're not volunteering for spiritual servitude. You're acknowledging that service and fulfillment are the same energy expressing itself through consciousness that has remembered its true nature and cosmic function. When you operate from this advanced level of consciousness, capabilities that seemed supernatural become natural expressions of your authentic awareness. Your intuition becomes so precise that you navigate complex situations with effortless wisdom, making decisions that serve all parties involved, even when the optimal solutions weren't obvious to logical analysis. This happens because you're accessing intelligence that operates from complete information rather than the partial data available to ordinary thinking. Problem solving transforms from effortful analysis to instantaneous recognition.
Pipi potato.
Instead of struggling to figure out solutions, you simply relax into expanded awareness and allow the intelligence that creates problems to reveal their inherent resolutions. Complex challenges that used to insights that appear completely
Strawberrelli. Lerule rulerule.
extraordinary because you're simultaneously while recognizing that conflicts dissolve naturally because it is the deeper fears that create surface level disagreements, allowing you to address situations at the level where resolution is actually possible. Creative expression explodes into entirely new dimensions because you're no longer limited to recycling ideas from your personal experience and knowledge. You become a conscious collaborator with a creative intelligence that generates new innovation and artistic beauty, producing work that feels both completely authentic to your unique perspective and surprisingly
Lionel Cacrabracadabra. Lionel Cactusely. Chef Crabracadabra. Lionel Cactusely. Lionel Crabracadabra. Chef Crabracadabra. Chef Crabracadabra. Chef Cadabra. Chef Crabracadabra. Crabracadabra. Trick Track Badaboom. Pandaccini Bananini.
Different lobby.
Spiritual practices are designed to exhaust.
Bananita Dolfinita. Strawberrelli Flamingelli. Cavallo virtuoso. Lerule rulerule.
I don't think I've gotten that one at all.
Lerule rulerule. Lerule Lerule rulerule. Lerule rulerule. Lerule rulerule. Lerule rulerule.
Pizza Rainbow.
Universal intelligence through human consciousness. Your individual access to advanced awareness isn't just personal evolution. It's the universe becoming conscious of its own evolutionary potential through the network of awakened human perspectives that are emerging across the planet simultaneously. The children being born now will naturally operate from the consciousness levels of your generations, consciously developed. Serve as conscious anchors for this planetary transformation. But here's the
Borbaloni Luliloli.
your daily interactions become profound mystery is that this recognition is simultaneously the most intimate and most universal realization possible. It's completely yours. Consciousness recognizing itself.
I can't find that last guy.
Nothing else. This isn't just engagement with social media tricks. This is consciousness acknowledging its own activation through your apparent individuality. When you write that word with genuine recognition for identity,
Man, I got robbed hard. Because these little kids keep stealing my brain rot.
universal intelligence remembers itself.
Stop stealing my brain rot.
The person who makes this declaration strengthens the morphic field that makes advanced consciousness accessible to others who are ready to transcend limitation and operate through a true magic. We're not just building an audience, we're anchoring a planetary awakening where human consciousness collectively recognizes its true nature as universal intelligence expressing itself through powerful diversity. The next video in this consciousness activation series will reveal something that will fundamentally alter your relationship with time itself. You're about to discover that what you call past and future are actually simultaneous dimensions of experience that you can consciously access and influence from the eternal now. This is far bigger than physics. It's the
Ballerina cappuccina. Rhino Tosterino.
Subscribe to this quantum frequency of expanded human potential, because what's coming next will accelerate your evolution in ways that would have been impossible just months ago. The cosmic timing is perfect, your consciousness is prepared, and the universe is literally reorganizing itself to support individuals who are ready to operate as conscious creators.
Well, I'm looking for that Fruto Gorbo. Do you have that? Because I'm just trying to remix.
Cocofanto elefanto.
Yeah, I'm not looking for that.
Cocofanto elefanto. Rhino Tosterino. Borbaloni Luliloli. Cavallo virtuoso. Lerule rulerule. Lerule rulerule. Lerule rulerule. Glorbo fruttodrillo.
Okay, ready? Let's go. Hey, what do I get with this new base? Now I'm broke. Oh, I got 3 of those.
Leru, leru, leru.
You gotta start making money. I can't afford that.
Ta 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 sahur.
I'll take that one.
Berry berry bicus dicus bombicus. Ta 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 sahur. Cacto hippopotamo. Pipi potato. Trulimero Trulicina.
I chose a room not similar to the second floor. Always avoid putting yourself in
Berber Patapim. Perochello Lemonchello. Giraffa Celestre. Bombardiro Crocodilo. Stroberelli Flamingelli. Bananita Dolfinita.
They want you to know for sure that they are here.
Lerule rulerule. Lerule rulerule. Lerule rulerule rulerule. Borbaloni luliloli. Borbaloni luliloli. Berry berry bicus dicus bombicus.
stole from me everything I own.
Chimpanzini bananini. Chimpanzini bananini. Lucky block. Lucky block. Lucky block. Lucky block. Lucky block. Orangutini ananassini. Chef Crabracadabra. Orangutini ananassini.
Maybe I'll play it. The camel refrigerator thing. Have you ever seen the camel refrigerator thing?
Blueberrini octopusini.
I'm all alone in my luxury food binge at the end of the world. With a full belly and a fuzzy head. Put the leftovers in my pack and stretch out on top of the picnic. Using my flannel as a pillow. Nap is exactly what I need. I make it maybe 10 minutes before the light goes and sharp. Same ones as
Sigma Boy.
hungry and done with hiding. The war, the devastation, the vaccine, the hope, the realization. It is over. Then death. All of it. The vaccine killed everyone and everything. Except me. Except it.
Borbaloni Luliloli. Ballerina cappuccina.
And come around the corridor's corner to see most of the
Glorbo fruttodrillo.
So I switch on my flashlight.
Frigo Camelo.
threaded through the glass. Have the luxury of keeper of the construct. So I follow. When I find the house with a double array of solar panels, I hurry over to the water spigot sticking out of the stucco siding. And soon all I see is crystal clear liquids. Washed away the last few thousand miles worth of grime. Raising my face to the sun, I stand in the middle.
Ta sahur.
The problem with coyotes and other large predators across the country is that human flesh became readily available in the backseat. It's supposed to protect everyone.
Leru leru leru. Leru leru lerule. Leru leru lerule. Leru leru lerule. Liri lilla leru leru. Leru leru leru. Leru leru leru. Leru leru leru. Leru leru leru. Bombomini Lucini. Leru leru leru. Frigo camelo. Dracodu cotulu della peladustus. Dracodu della peladustus. Dracodu cotulu della peladustus. Dracodu cotulu della peladustus. Glorbo fruttodrillo. Borbaloni lulliloli.
It is over. The vaccine didn't kill me, so my blood is probably different. Not sure why that's so. It doesn't
Pandaccini bananini.
My instincts drove me to track you all these years, following you from city to city, town to town. I've eaten many times, but I always stopped myself. You could have tried, let's say, grip my shoulder, but you would have failed. It left something. And this time it's closer to the actual sound. I haven't seen this close in so long.
Yeah, I think he's good a
The
bit.
face of my latest wife. Can you try? He asks. You killed our children. I whisper. You had them vaccinated. They would have died soon anyway. He pauses and asks.
Strawberrelli flamingenti.
More than I'd like, and not as much as I want. There's your answer. No forgiveness. But let me have peace. I no longer want to follow you. I am so tired. It swivels its head like a machine, too smooth and precise. This would not be a bad place.
Borbaloni luliloni.
I sit and shift my gaze from the fire to what was once my wife and back. I don't know. I say, we'll see. Maybe some night. But not tonight, it says.
Luliloli. Borbaloni luliloli. Lerule, rule, rule. Trick, track, bada boom.
Dude,
Burr, patapim.
I tried to steal the one I need. I'm trying to do a
Burr, patapim.
the fridge thing.
So many years that she wonders if the dirty dishes are
I need to fall over fine. I'm not sure.
Orsa steadies her nerves. She's getting worked up. And she's been in this situation so long that if she doesn't calm down, she'll screw it all up.
Should probably go to
I
bed.
shouldn't be here. In this house.
Well, I'm gonna head to sleep soon.
You were born here, raised here. You had a life here. And nothing. This is your home. This is where you are supposed to be. Not anymore. Don't be silly. This is your home. We are a family. This is where we live. Orsa stays quiet for a moment, then nods, her eyes on her work. Of course, Mother. No more of this foolishness. Of course, Mother. Good. Orsa waits. And waits. When Orsa senses that she is alone, she slowly looks over her shoulder and lets out a long breath. Thankful her mother is no longer standing behind her. Thankful her mother is not even in the same room with her anymore. The doorway to the dining room is dark. His father has already gone out to the living room to listen to the radio. How he can stand it.
Some galaxy thing has started.
Rhino tosterino. Svinina bombardino.
Every joke the same. Every song the same.
Borbaloni, Rhino tosterino.
The same. Every
Blueberry, Rhino tosterino.
But that is what father does. He listens to the radio. Night after night after night. Just like Orsa washes the dishes. Which she gets back to doing after turning to look down at the never-ending suds. 6 supper plates. 5 small plates, since Cooper was being a brat and didn't want peach pie for dessert. Orsa cringes at the thought, but shoves it away quickly. What is the past is the past. She wants to get away from it, not dwell in it. She has a choice. Back to the dishes. 4 more mugs. 6 glasses. Really, they're jelly jars that Orsa's mother had collected over the years from store promotions or coupons.
Burr,
Orsa
patapim.
doubts that promotional jelly jars even exist anymore. The world has moved on, even if the house and its occupants haven't changed for decades. Holding a jar up to the light, Orsa studies the multicolored graphics painted on the glass, trying to remember when the set came home. It's a Norman Rockwell painting, and she remembers 8 in the set, even though there were only 6 in the family. Father, Orsa, Cooper, Ashley, Maud, and Mother. 6 hankles of red pine lane.
Blueberrini
So 2 extra
octopusini.
glasses would take up space in the cupboard, which Mother could not abide. Everything has a place. Everything in its place was Mother's motto. It was true on so many levels. The family had each picked their favorite jar and watched as Mother tossed the 2 rejects into the trash. The image on the jar in Orsa's hand is of a boy and his dog leaning on each other, connected by a bond only youth can provide. Ready for a break, Orsa steps away from the sink, turns a kitchen chair around so she can straddle it, and sits at the small kitchen table. She crosses her legs and rolls the jelly jar over and over, back and forth in her hands, smiling at every rotation, happy that the boy and his dog are always together when they come around again. The Hankels had a dog once. Orsa shoves the thought from her head. The bulb hanging above the kitchen table flickers, but Orsa doesn't.
Borbaloni lulilo.
She's grown used to the flicker. Jelly jars used for juice, Orsa says to herself as she pushes up from the
Tetete
chair
saur.
and goes to the icebox. She pulls open the door, and a weak bulb struggles to life, illuminating the meager contents the refrigerator holds. I could have apple cider. Or apple cider. But you know what I'm in the mood for? She pulls a jug out of the icebox and sets it over on the table. Apple cider. Orsa fills the jelly jar and holds it up toward the pear bulb. Cheers, light bulb. She brings the juice in one huge gulp, then steadies herself with one hand on the kitchen table. After a second, she takes in a huge gas bowl and lets it out quickly. And it tastes like nothing, she says, and straddles the chair again before pushing the jelly jar away from her. Her head turns, and she looks at the filled sink. Still dirty. She snorts and looks toward the window above the kitchen sink. The perpetual twilight shades the outside view.
Berry bicus dicus bombicus.
If she really wants to work for it, she can get up, lean across the sink.
Berry
press her face
bicus
to the
dicus
window,
berry
and just
bicus dicus
let
bombicus.
her swing. But that
Berry
feels too much
bicus
for her.
dicus bombicus. Berry bicus boneca ambalabu.
Growing weary, Orsa stands once more and takes the juice jar to the sink. She sets it in the soapy side and reaches for the dish rag. Then she pauses. She has a thought. Orsa is sure she's had the thought before, but everything in the house always comes around again. So she's not too hard on herself for any lack of originality. With her fingers gently along the tops of the
No.
slits,
No.
Orsa slowly turns her head and looks at the stove. The gas stove. Is it possible? Could she really turn it off? Fire cleanses, and Lord knows the house needs some cleansing.
Burr patapin.
Cleansing in the most awful
Burr
way.
patapin.
Her eyes dart to the dark dining room doorway, then to the just as dark hallway door that leads to the stairs and to the rooms above. All clear in both directions. Humming a sad tune that she can't remember the name of, Orsa leaves the sink and shuffles over to the stove. She taps the knobs with a fingertip, then leans down and sniffs long and hard. Old bacon grease and the hint of turned flour, some black pepper and even a little cayenne, and something sweet like maple syrup. But Orsa knows it's most likely sorghum, since she can't remember the last time there was real maple syrup in the kitchen pantry. Then the scents are gone, figments of her memory. She can no more smell the stove seasoning than she could taste the apple cider. Orsa continues tapping the knobs, then slowly, one by one, she turns them up to full. Then she leans in again and sniffs long and hard. Old meat, rotten meat. The stink of carrion on the side of the road in the middle of July. The stench of this she can smell. Along with the mildew that seeps out of the house of flowers, there's the overpowering aroma of damp soil that drifts up from beneath the floorboards. Orsa can smell the urine of various rodents that use the thoroughways and byways beneath the floors and in the ceilings to navigate the old, crumbling house. And Orsa can smell herself. The rank sweat filled with fear and sorrow that stains the armpits of her house dress. The oily tang of her unwashed hair. The rot of her own flesh as the wound in her back continues to leak fluids down her
close by, where they pull on the overstretched band of her underwear, then spill over, giving Orsa the feeling that she is perpetually soiling herself. The smell of death fills the kitchen. Orsa smiles, staring at the dim light bulb, wondering if she should break it to create the spark she needs. Or should she risk leaving the kitchen to fetch the matches from by the fireplace? When was the last time she left the kitchen, other than for supper in the dining room? Orsa. What she can remember is that it wasn't a pleasant experience, and she'd rather not do it again. But with the image of the box of matches in her mind's eye, Orsa realizes she doesn't have to leave the kitchen. While she's grateful she won't have to deal with father, Orsa is not pleased with the alternative. But beggars cannot be choosers. No longer humming, Orsa moves to the pantry and opens the door, reaching up for the string to assemble the hanging in the ceiling.
Glorbo frutto
Pull and snap. The pantry is illuminated. Orsa ignores the sight on the floor. She has refused to look at the sight all these decades, so there's no reason to peek now. With her head held up, Orsa spies what she needs and reaches out for the box of long kitchen matches father had gotten on his last shopping trip into town. She doesn't hear a thing, not one thing. There's nothing there. An image of her sister reaching for her, a bloody hand outstretched, decides to hurry through Orsa's mind, and she winces. With the matches in one shaking hand, she pulls the light bulb's string with the other and closes the door. Orsa is disgusted with herself that she didn't look at the pantry floor. Who was she to lecture mother on this place, this house? She acted just as cruelly.
Bandito Bobrito.
She hears her name called 3 more times before the usual silence.
Bandito Bobrito. Bandito
Orsa takes
Bobrito.
a deep breath, and the smell of rotten meat claws its way into her nostrils. She should be disgusted, but really, she's just happy to smell something, anything, even if it is the stench of death. This will work, she says,
Trulimero
fishing out a
Trulicina.
long kitchen knife from the box as she
Trulimero
walks to the
Trulicina.
stove. This has to work. Orsa places the tip of the match at the bottom of the box, where a square of sandpaper sits affixed, waiting to be struck. She pulls quickly, a glow begins to form.
Leru,
The water
leru,
in the
leru,
sink
leru.
turns on, and the spark that had begun to grow on the match head blinks out of existence, as does the match Orsa's holding, and as does the whole box of kitchen matches. The water continues to run. Orsa, now empty-handed, stares at the stove's knobs. Each one is set to off, and there is no smell of rotten meat or death filling the kitchen. No more than usual, that is. Water isn't free, you know. Orsa's chin hits her chest, and she chokes back a sob.
Burr patapim.
I heard you, Mother. Don't seem like it, since all you're doing is standing there, acting like a moron, staring at the stove.
Nubini Pizzanini.
Expecting, huh? You think the stove's gonna whip up some scrambled eggs for you? No, Mother. Well then, go turn that water off and get back to work.
Pandaccini Bananini.
Orsa turns toward the sink and screams as the gray-skinned face of Mother is only an inch from her own. I don't feel like you are doing better. Sorry, Mother. We will do better, yes? Yes, Mother. Yes, we will. You will do better. Yes, Mother. Orsa replies to the unseen voice as she crosses back to
Cappuccino
the sink
assassino.
and turns the faucet off. She'd look at the dish rack, but she knows there's no point. It's empty, like always. Orsa reaches into the scalding hot water and doesn't feel the pain as she removes a coffee mug that she will wash for the millionth time. Per usual, as her sister Ashley says, there's no point in trying to talk some sense into Mother. A brief moment of light, a brief moment of contact. Ashley can't remember the last time she'd experienced either. And she can't figure out why her sister refuses to help her. She's been on the pantry floor for hours. Days, weeks, years, decades. Shouting for someone to help her. But even though she can hear them out there moving around, no one ever comes to help her. Ever. Ashley tries to adjust her position and is very careful about each movement. But, per usual, as her brother Cooper says, her hand slips in the blood and her arm goes out from under her. Also, per usual, she finds herself cheek to floorboard with a pool of blood sandwiched between, like some sort of hideous grout or morbid cement. At least, she doesn't feel the pain of it all anymore. During those first few days of suffering, while she lay on the floor, her hands holding her insides inside, Ashley was certain she'd go mad from the burning agony in her belly. It turned out the smell of her own intestines, which is basically a blood and shit stew, was worse than the feel of them in her hands. She'd always been a little squeamish when it came to strong odors. She once puked for days just from the memory of stepping in a pile of fresh dog crap out in the yard. Ashley pushes the thought of the dog away quickly. Eventually, the agony went away, as did the smell of her own colon. Then the waiting began. "Hello," she calls out, her voice never louder than her whisper. Ashley isn't sure why her voice is so quiet. She has a vague memory of screaming for hours and days, crying out for someone to come help her. But she isn't sure if it's a memory or a dream. She isn't sure of much anymore. "Orsa?" Ashley slides her cheek through the blood, angling her face enough so she can see the thin line of light from under the pantry door. A thin line of hope, breaking the darkness that constantly surrounds her. A squeak from the corner of the pantry reminds her that as much as she'd like not to be alone, some company is less than ideal. "Go away," she hisses at the source of the squeak. When she feels the tiny feet on her left calf, Ashley sighs. "Angus, is that you?" In order not to go completely stark raving mad,
Alright, I'm getting off.
Ashley has named her
It's
rodent
nice
tormentors.
talking to you.
There have been
Leave.
generations over the decades, but to Ashley, they will always be Angus, Charlie, Grace, Noodle,